The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network. We're always around the corner from everywhere. Morning Espresso is brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. I'm Jason Longshore. It's Wednesday, January 28th, and today is just one of those days on the calendar. There's days in this game that feel loud even before a ball is kicked. Today's one of them. It's decision day in the UEFA Champions League. All 36 teams, 18 matches, one live table, every goal flipping the math in real time. I'll be watching all the chaos this afternoon over at the Brewhouse Cafe. I will more than likely have an Around the Corner lager in hand, powered by our friends at Nofo Brew Co. And I'll be hitting refresh on the table just like the rest of you with multiple games on all around me. I'm looking forward to all the madness. That's what these days are all about. This format, this is why it exists. Today, all of the math of 7 rounds and now round 8, all of it starts to become real. Let's finish up this league phase in the Champions League. 36 teams all kick off at 3 p.m., 18 matches, one table. Every goal will swing the standings. Here's the tension. Only Arsenal and Bayern are safe. Everyone else is still negotiating with math, which is always dangerous. Real Madrid's in third place on 15 points. Borussia Dortmund in 16th place on 11. All of them have an opportunity from 3rd to 16th to finish in the top 8 and avoid the play-in round. That's the jam. That's the chaos. The cut line is really thin. Chelsea right now are in that 8th spot on 13 points. Barcelona are in 9th, also on 13 points. They are separated by a single goal of goal differential. One bounce, one extra goal, one crazy deflection, one late concession. Everything starts to move. No club captures the pressure of today better than Napoli. They come into the day in 25th place, on the outside looking in. No margin for error here. It's no longer about managing moments or playing for later. This is about survival for the current Italian champions. A draw probably doesn't do it for them. Goal differential isn't friendly on their end. You need a win here, and they probably then still need some help. Who are they facing? Chelsea. Antonio Conte against his former club. Chelsea chasing a top 8 finish of their own, trying to avoid the play-in round, trying to avoid 2 extra matches. Napoli needing to chase the game. How aggressive will they be, and when will they choose to be aggressive? Going to be a fascinating story at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. It's not going to be comfortable for Napoli, that's for sure. Meanwhile, in Paris, the marquee matchup, it's PSG hosting Newcastle, 6th versus 7th, both on 13 points. Lose, and you almost certainly fall into the playoff round. Even a draw could be dangerous, and both teams could fall into the playoff round. That's why this format is great and creates this drama, because both teams are in a pretty good spot. I think in the past you would normally see the situation play out in a 4-team group with, well, we're fine, we're good, let's go, let's just we'll play, we're not worried about it. But in this case, you're going to have both teams really playing hard for a win because of all the other chaos going around them. I don't think a draw is going to get them into the knockout round and avoid that play-in round. I think a draw is going to force both of them into the play-in round. That's the point of a day like today. It's not just about, okay, get into the knockout round. It is about avoiding that play-in round. Nobody wants 2 extra games right now. Nobody wants 2 extra games of just minutes on legs, but also the pressure and the toll that it takes. You get into the top 8, you skip Champions League games next month. 9th through 24th, welcome to 2 extra games, extra travel, extra pressure. Playoff draws coming on Friday once we know who is 9th through 24th. This is one of those days where the table moves like the airport departures board. Whatever you thought was comfortable, look down in 10 minutes and it probably will disappear. It's going to be a chaotic day in Champions League. I can't wait. You can watch all of it on the CBS Paramount family of networks. The Paramount app will be getting lots of business today. The Golasso show will be getting lots of business today. You're going to need multiple screens. However you choose to consume it, if you want to go with the whip around show or if you want to watch a game or two or three or four, depending on how much you can do, you're going to want to consume a whole lot of it. It is going to be a fun day in Champions League. It was a fun night last night for the U.S. women's national team. Some clarity in another big win for them, 5-0 over Chile in Santa Barbara. That closed out the January camp. This lineup was even less capped, I think is the better way to put it. English, it's a good language to try to speak sometimes. This lineup was even less capped than the last starting lineup. So this lineup now is the least capped starting lineup in the last 25 years. Wasn't about names. It was about being ready for the assignment. 3 players scored their first international goals, one of them being Georgia-born Croy Bethune, Jamise Joseph, and Emily Sams. 2 debutantes, also both from Georgia, Iowoke and Riley Jackson. They both picked up their first assists. Emily Sams wore the captain's armband for the first time. Emma Hayes rotated heavily. She said she would after the Paraguay win on the weekend. This group averaged just 5.2 caps per starter. Performance sure didn't look like that, though. 71% possession, 21 shots, 0 allowed. Chile just never looked dangerous in this one. And then there was the moment. Emma Sears scored 27 seconds into the second half. Trinity Rodman comes on and scores. And then this time, after she tried last time, she dragged Emma Hayes into the celebration dance on the sideline. Rodman joked that she had been telling her coach to practice, said that Emma had embarrassed her on the weekend. Emma Hayes went for it. You got your TikTok moment there. That kind of moment matters, though, because it tells you everything about this group. Loose, confident, connected. I'm sure there were, as I said last night on Atlanta Soccer Tonight, I'm sure there were some old typewriters being banged on last night after Emma Hayes was dancing. It was fun. It wasn't disrespectful to the opponent. It was fun. It is what we enjoy in moments like this, or I think we should. You love to see the connection between a group of players and a manager, and I think Emma Hayes has excelled in building that connection with all of her players, whether we're talking veterans who have over 100 caps to brand new players who have never played in this kind of environment before. 2 matches, 11 goals, none conceded. January camp is done. She Believes Cup is coming up next. And I think now you're seeing, as Emma talked about it, you are building for World Cup qualifying later this year, for a World Cup in Brazil in 2027, for the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. But you're also building for the Women's World Cup in 2031 that is going to be co-hosted by the U.S. So a lot of things happening at once. It's exciting to see all of this young talent breaking through for the U.S. women's national team. Let's talk MLS. Let's talk MLS and Apple. The timeline, the deal that they have, it's going to conclude at the end of the 2029 season, a little bit earlier than originally planned. But the league and Apple are focused on the scale of the deal going forward. MLS executive Seth Bacon has been clear. The goal is growing the audience together. Apple matters because it's an ecosystem. And, you think about how connected the Apple ecosystem is. MLS wants to be in that. I think now with all the matches included in standard Apple TV as opposed to the separate and additional MLS season pass, it's less friction, it's more access. It's a good adjustment in this partnership. Another adjustment is the Walmart Saturday Showdown. It's a weekly marquee match beginning opening weekend this season. Kind of like Sunday Night Soccer, appointment viewing, enhanced production. They're going to have the shot on iPhone angles, social first kind of moments. MLS is trying to do something that I think every league is trying to do right now. Streaming first, that shift is happening really quickly. And you are still dealing with a fan base that is on all fronts of streaming and connectivity. You have some people who still do not do the streaming stuff or don't do it often, Although I think with seeing what the NBA and what the NFL and Major League Baseball are all doing there, it's becoming more of a necessity to be in the streaming world, understand the streaming world. But then there's also the social world of it as well, the short form content. I mean, we talked about Emma Hayes and Trinity Rodman and doing a TikTok dance. Like, this kind of stuff is important as well. MLS is trying to create shared experiences in this world where everything is more accessible, but it's also more disconnected in a way. So trying to figure all of that out, I mean, MLS isn't the only ones doing it. NWSL is trying to figure this out. FIFA is trying to figure this out with their partnership with TikTok for the World Cup. Every league, every sport, every entertainment entity is trying to figure this out right now. So in the soccer world, and especially the MLS world, you are building these connections within the Apple ecosystem. You have a World Cup coming this summer. You have the schedule shift coming in 2027. You start to see all of the strategy now. You want more moments. You want more big moments, and you want more things to talk about. What happens after 2029 at the end of the deal? Totally open question. I think MLS is trying to ensure that when they get there, the league is easier to find and harder to ignore. It's a really exciting time when we talk about soccer in this country, and Major League Soccer is a huge, huge part of that, especially with what the next 2 years are going to look like. This season, the World Cup, the schedule shift next year. Going to be a fun ride. Not a fun ride right now is hanging out with John Texter. Let's get caught up on what's going on in his world. In Lyon, reports say that he attempted one last maneuver to regain control ahead of the club's General Assembly. Michelle Kang and one of John Texter's many creditors, Aries, shut it down. Aries reportedly went further, backing his removal as a director effective immediately. This is all according to reports in France at the moment. Money talks, and when it does, ambition doesn't really matter anymore, especially if you got a whole bunch of people you owe money to. Aries, I think, is at the front of the line, but it's a line for sure. Speaking of the line, in Brazil, the fallout from all of this stuff continues. Botafogo, another club of Mr. Texter's, they are facing legal action, again, over unpaid commissions tied to the Danilo transfer involving Nottingham Forest. Agents are pushing for fast payment, account freezes, even revenue seizures. Well, again, get in line. Different continents, same theme. It's multi-club ownership, I think, at times gets a bad rap because of stuff like this. This has nothing to do outside of the fact it is a multi-club ownership. That's not why this is a problem. This is a problem because someone overextended themselves and someone has not lived up to their business dealings, and someone has consistently shown that they don't live up to their business dealings, and someone is now paying the price for all of it. It's the obligations are stacking up. The consequences when someone doesn't do all of these things, those consequences get public really fast. Atlanta United, Danilo's agents, Lyon, Aries, Michelle Kang. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Iconic Sports, almost $100 million they're owed. Yeah. Sorry, John Texter. We'll see what continues to happen with you, and we'll keep talking about it here on the Morning Espresso. Let's get caught up on the domestic side of things. CONMEBOL president Alejandro Dominguez says that the door is open for MLS and Liga MX clubs to enter the Copa Libertadores. Inter Miami owner Jorge Mas, he's called it a dream. Dreams do need permission. CONCACAF and FIFA are opposed to this. They point to the Champions Cup as the pathway to the FIFA Club World Cup. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of configurations. There's a lot of talk about maybe a long-term partnership when it comes to competitions, but still trying to keep independence between CONMEBOL and CONCACAF. Maybe this is another step in that direction. In roster news, the LA Galaxy acquired Joel Klaus from St. Louis, $2.375 million. They used the designated player spot opened by Ricky Puch's season-ending injury. Proven goal scorer in this league, presence up top. He is with the Galaxy for the upcoming season. Portland is trying to land Cole Bassett from Colorado in a deal that could reach $3.7 million. He'd be a U22 player in Portland, would become a central piece under Phil Neville. Surprise move, Chicho Arango is headed back to Colombia with Atlético Nacional after just 1 year in San Jose. Scored 13 goals, but now the Quakes have 2 open DP spots. They're trying to get the deal done for Timo Werner as they rebuild their attack from scratch. Cincinnati trying to add depth in goal, finalizing a loan for Fabian Mrosic from Liverpool. Purchase option would be included. And some U.S. soccer news, Cindy Parlow-Cone will run unopposed for re-election. She will be in charge of the Federation through 2030, can run again one more time after that, and would potentially be in charge of the Federation for a home Women's World Cup. The refill, some stuff from around the world, and we'll stay in the domestic side. USL officially announcing USL Premier, its future Division I league launching in 2028, sitting atop a promotion relegation pyramid. They've got to get approval from U.S. Soccer to be Division I, and they've got a lot of things to deal with, including a collective bargaining agreement with their current USL Championship players. A lot of structure in terms of what that promotion relegation looks like. There's still a lot to figure out beyond just the name of it. We will see how this continues to develop over the next couple of years. FIFA, their global transfer report dropped this morning, smashing records on the spending side, over $13 billion in fees. Women's football up more than 80% year over year in transfer fees. The market accelerating everywhere and fast. Lucas Paquetá, looks like that deal is done for him to go back to Flamengo, 42 million euro roughly. It is structured carefully in installments to protect Flamengo's finances. We talked about their finances yesterday. They're in really good shape, but they want to retain flexibility. This is a big spend to bring back Lucas Paquetá, who came to the academy at Flamengo. They're trying to protect themselves. They're also far more trustworthy than John Textor. Douglas Luiz, he's headed back to Aston Villa on loan from Juventus as Villa push through a midfield injury crisis at the moment. West Ham continuing their reshuffle. They have added Adama Traore. They have loaned out James Ward-Prowse, and they are resetting under Nuno Espirito Santo. Let's go around the corner from everywhere. SDHAM is live this morning. John Nelson hosting. You'll hear some post-game audio from the U.S. women's national team. Updates from London as Gotham is facing Corinthians in the FIFA Women's Champions Cup semifinal. Full look at Champions League Decision Day as well on SDHAM. At 10, Huntsville City FC Managing Director Chad Emerson joins the show to preview the MLS Next Pro season. And if you missed it last night, Atlanta Soccer Tonight, it's up on the Odyssey app and on the Off the Woodwork podcast feed. Got into some Atlanta United, talked about Adrian Gill and his signing for Atlanta United, got into Trinity Rodman's new contract and what it means for the NWSL. Went kind of deep diving on Cesc Fabregas and what he's doing at Como, and got into the U.S. men's national team, Champions League, and more. Go check that out, Odyssey app or the Off the Woodwork podcast feed, Atlanta Soccer Tonight. Decision Day, man, it always has a way of pulling everything towards it. The math in Europe is definitely mathing. The future has stepped forward for the U.S. women's national team. MLS positioning itself for what comes next. Roster doors open and closing all over the world as we're into the last week of the transfer window for the major European clubs. Some days are about clarity, some days are about movement, some days are about both, and today might be one of those days. It's built for the ride. Enjoy all the chaos. We'll be back tomorrow to talk all about all of that chaos and more on a new edition of the Morning Espresso for Thursday. Thank you so much for spending your time with me this morning. Have a great Wednesday, y'all.